What's up? It's Marcos, Sage of Soccer, and today I want to talk about some USL Championship players who look like really top prospects, could be affecting the US men's national team in the near future, and could be affecting the US U20 team and U17 team right now. We got a lot of players to talk about. I just want to say, real quick, I'm not going to be mentioning, MLS players who are just, in their second team in the USL, because I feel like that's a little bit cheating. There's one I'm going to be mentioning at the end, but, we'll get to him later. So starting things off, we got Diego Luna playing at El Paso, and man, the U20 International is looking even better this year. He has always been extremely talented with the ball, just so technically gifted, so good at dribbling, and now he's adding a lot of end product to his game. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists, and man, just a really fun player to watch, and he's making things happen now. There's just a guy who, man, what he can do with the ball is unbelievable. And he's starting to put everything together. From what I've heard, apparently he had professionalism issues, which I'm not really sure how he can have professional issues at 16, but that's all behind him now. He's playing week in, week out, playing well. I wasn't sure about him staying another year in the championship, but I think it's really doing wonders for him, and I'm really hoping to see how good he can be when he moves on to Europe, because I feel like Europe's coming for him next. I remember seeing him on trial in a Portuguese team this winter. I feel like there was a Belgian team interested in him as well. I could definitely see him ending up there. And man, if you get a good team behind him that can build around him, Diego Luna can be exceptional. And I'm really looking forward to watching him in the U20 team this summer. Next guy I want to talk about is a U19 international, one of the first 2005s to break through into a first team, and that's Josh Widener out of Louisville City. And man, Louisville, another really good prospect just after losing Jonathan Gomez, and it was impressive about Josh Wynder. I might have said Widener earlier. Josh Wynder is just how high of a floor that he has as a player. When you're a 16-year-old playing center back in at this age, Kobe Henry's a guy who, I'm not going to talk about him because he already moved to Reims, but he was a really good player. Won the USL with Orange County. He was a part of the Revelations Cup, even made the U.S. men's national team in the Camp Cupcake. But he would have a couple of just bad performances, which is obvious that's going to happen at this age, and that doesn't say anything about the player that he's going to be. But Winder, he's solid in every single game. His bad performance isn't that bad, and he's not a freak athlete, just a very solid center back, and just a young prospect who looks like he can kill it. Another really talented guy coming out of Louisville. Next guy I want to talk about is a player who hasn't exactly broken to the first team yet, and I'm not talking about too many players like this, but when he's talented like this, I feel like I got to mention him, and that's Matthew Cochran. And he's another guy going the Jonathan Gomez route of leaving FC Dallas to play for a club in the USL to allow easy access to Europe. And he's playing at the Birmingham Legion. He's a defensive midfielder who has yet to appear in the first team, but he has made the bench, and he's a 2006 player, a really young guy. And I just want to say that he's rated at the same level as the Adrian Simon Gill, who's playing at Barcelona, Jude Wellings, I believe it's Cruz Medina, all those really talented 06. He's rated just with them, and he might be playing with men really soon, and that's going to be great for his development. I'm hoping that he can get a couple of appearances under him. And speaking of 2006 players, we got one guy I want to talk about in the USL League One, not the USL Championship, and that's Nick Holliday, who, again, a 2006 player, and he's kept a clean sheet. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a great player, because I want to say, just playing early doesn't mean you'll end up being, this amazing guy. But, Freddie Adu, we know that. But it's still impressive, really impressive. He's a U17 international. Right now, it's hard to judge his ceiling because I believe he's still under 6 feet tall, but he's growing, I'm pretty sure. So can't judge that too much right now, but just a really talented prospect. And he's completely independent. I could see Charlotte trying to sign him maybe, or I'm not too sure if there are any other clubs in the area who would really want to, but man, talented prospect there. And also, Andrew Carlton is playing with the San Diego Loyal in one of the weirder transfers of this year. Look at the fans' reaction to that one. And now, one player I wanted to talk about who's from a MLS second team is Kristen Fletcher. He's the guy who was playing straight out of high school, and then now he's going to be joining Borussia Dortmund probably in 2003. And I don't think we'll ever see him with DC United's first team, though he's probably training with them. But I feel like I can talk about him. Just a dynamic athlete with some of the top pace in the country, like a very good dribbler as well. He's shown ability to score goals in one of his 2 games so far. He had a really nice header, and he just looks like a great prospect. Definitely somebody to watch. I hope he's called into the U20 team. He's a 2005 player, and man, just a spectacular prospect. And it's awesome to see him with like an MLS academy, because he was in like a high school team, then with like kind of an independent club, and now he's finally training at like a really high level. I'm hoping that this can translate to him going to Borussia Dortmund and like at least getting into their second team right away, because their second team's in Bundesliga 3 now, I think. I didn't check if they got relegated or not this year, but man, really talented player. I want to see him play a lot, because great athlete. We don't have anybody with like his just dynamic pace, the U20 team. I believe he's left-footed as well, which is as a whole different dimension to his game. Just a great prospect. And now some other guys to mention, some guys who are in MLS academies who look really good. Theo Di Pietro, a really talented midfield player in FC Dallas's, not FC Dallas, DC United's London or Lunden team. I never know how to pronounce that. Just guy to really watch. And Tyler Freeman, formerly of the Sporting Academy, he's finally finding himself in the same team. Then Las Vegas, LAFC's team, they've got Antonio Leone, still a really talented prospect. LA Galaxy 2, I think they're Los Dos. They've got Jalen Neal, who really talented U20 player, definitely going to be on the U20 team. Antonio Leone will be on the Mexican U20 team. We're definitely going to try to get him on the American U20 team. Not sure it's going to happen. But yeah, some really talented players. Well, some other guys at the USL. New Mexico is a really talented kid. San Antonio are bringing through some players. And a lot of guys who I'm going to end up talking about in my college recruiting videos. I can think of a couple. Like some guys who are like played in high school this year ending up in the USL. And man, with that recruiting thing, like, I'll tell you something. If you like start to follow like recruiting, this like stuff that happened yesterday, like at school stuff, like it starts to get scary, because I've recognized like 2 schools that have been like shut up, and just I don't know, something I just wanted to say. And yeah, that's all I really have to talk about right now. A lot of talented players in the USL, and man, really hoping some of them can make it, because they're fun to watch. That's all I have to talk about right now. See ya.